All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jessica Payne Live. I am your host, Jessica Payne, and you hear the amazing, mighty echo of my printer, which decided to be possessed right now. So we are welcoming you to the show. I'm really excited about the show today. I have an amazing guest. I say that every week, but I really mean it this week because this one knows me from my very first official job. So we have stories. She's a kindred spirit. She's amazing. She's a boss lady and absolutely inspires me from afar. But first and foremost, let me welcome you to the show. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome. If you're watching me here on Facebook, thank you. Don't forget to follow me and hit sign up, that big mighty blue button, to get one of these, which I've been told I need to mention more at the top of my show, which is my free cheat sheet, how to inspire action on social media in 5 simple steps. So you asked, here it is. Here's my quick promotion, and then we're going to go right into the show. This is where you can find my free cheat sheet, how to inspire action on social media in 5 simple steps. And this is because I get a ton of questions from you guys every single week. How can I start to create change, positive action, and actually get people to do what I want them to do on social? That's where you can find it, and I'll have a link in the comments. Promotion done. Now we can jump to the show. Allow me to welcome my guest this week. She has a lot of knowledge to drop on us. Her name is Emily Kealey, and she is the president and founder of an amazing agency out in Texas, here in the United States, called Conversation PR. Let me go ahead and bring her onto the show. Emily Kealey, welcome.
Hi. Hi, Jessica.
Now, hello. Welcome to the show, my friend. Let me give you some proper look. Okay, good. We've got our cards up. We've got everything. Emily, I'm going to try to do my best to give you an intro, but I'd really love to just jump right in and hear from you. Like I said, folks, she knows me from eons ago. My very first paid job in the industry, public relations, communications, is where I met this fine lady. And she taught me early on what integrity was. And you just struck me as someone who had poise. I was like, this girl has it together. I was just growing into my pods. I was just like the nerd and the glasses. And here you are walking down the hallway with like a folder and like pitching media. Like, you just had it going on. So that is my heartfelt intro to you. But I want to welcome you to my little show that could. And I'm going to be giving shout out to people. It looks like Rob Wheat is on. I think Chris Grondorf might have jumped on. I'm going to double check.
Chris!
But, Emily, give us a wave and tell us a little bit about Conversation Piece PR and kind of what you do.
Yeah, so we're based here in Austin, Texas. And I founded Conversation Piece with the idea in mind, focusing on the culture first. I really wanted it to be an empowering place for men and women to come and have a place where they felt that their life was greater than their work. And a lot of times that's hard for, I think, clients to understand. But I feel that if your life, if you focus on the things that are important to you outside of work, you actually get better work for your clients. So, you can go home to your dogs or your guitars. To me, it's coming home to my kids and my husband and my cat and being able to cook every night for them. That's like my priorities. So I focused on the culture and the core values and the mission of who we were going to be. And from the inside, then we started to work our way out. And so with the core values, we also, we always seek out clients that also, I think, have a sense of humor and want to work together and want to be collaborative and want to be supportive and just want to go out there and kick some ass. So that's really what we focused on. And we've been in business for about 2 years, and I have 6 employees now. And we have a little office over near downtown Austin. So we're rocking it out and just, I think every day we try to show up and support and laugh and do great work.
I love it. So you hit on something right away that I love, which is life is greater than work, which totally jives with me. We talked about this yesterday because my mantra is kind of a greater than, which I love, which is real is greater than perfect. And I think we're kind of saying the same thing. I think right off the bat, I think what a lot of people would love to know is, you and I kind of started off in our careers right around the same time. Here we are, I don't know how, running our own businesses.
Yes.
I've got a scroll in terms of like successes, not failures, but maybe lessons learned, key learnings.
Key learning.
Can you share with us, now that you're kind of you're a boss lady, you're a bona fide boss lady running your own show, right off the top, if there's anyone who is kind of watching this show, male or female, who might be considering taking a leap, is there one piece of advice you'd give to them if they're a little hesitant? Because I think it's one thing to say, here we are, but you and I both have years and years of experience and hard lessons. And that is really intimidating to people who are like, well, I want what you have, but I've kind of got this sense of trepidation. Is there one piece of advice you would give to someone considering maybe exploring creating their own venture or business?
I had a pie business before this. I was so kind of burnt out with PR. I was at the large agencies, and I got pregnant with my first daughter, and the margins are so thin in CPG, and I decided to fold up shop. And I spent about 3 months trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I love marketing and PR, but I was like, well, why am I not doing it the way that I think I can do it?
Right.
Like, why do I have to go work for somebody else if I think that I can do this myself and do it differently enough in a way that can attract others?
Yeah.
So I think the thing to think about, and there's always this fear that you have to know everything. And let me tell you that you don't. You can find mentors. You can, like, I hate doing P&Ls. I hate them. But you can find people to do P&Ls for you and educate you on that. So if you feel like you've got a heart and I think the ability to embrace risk, and you love your idea so much, and I started out with a love for this idea that I felt that I had something to give. And I think that everything else starts to unfold for you, and you start to find people that can help you on your journey. I definitely do not know everything at all, but I do know that I've got a few superpowers, and I try to find people with, complementary superpowers to take us to the next level. And, the thing to remember is what got you here isn't going to get you there. So this idea that you're always going to be growing, you're always going to be thinking about the business and like, where can you take it? How can you diversify, or how can you expand? And I think that's really important to remember. So just know you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all of the answers.
Love it. Awesome. I think that's an important tip to give. So I was showing a little bit of your website because your mantra and your ethos is amazing. But so you don't have to have all the answers. Tip number one. All right. Awesome. Perfect. We don't have to worry about anything else. So It's almost like a Buddhist, like, I know nothing. I admit that I know nothing. But that's not true. It's like we both have our battle scars.
Yes.
That's excellent advice. I would totally agree. I talk about one of my biggest challenges is I really struggle with getting out of my own way. And one of the reasons that is I feel like things have to be perfect. I'm walking back from that. That's why my own mantra is basically a chant to myself, real is greater than perfect. But it totally is rooted in the fact that sometimes I feel I have to have all the answers, or especially if you're like risk averse like me, like if I like early on, it's the childhood thing. I learned that to take risks was scary. So we naturally arm ourselves with as much information as possible. And sometimes it sounds like that can hold us back from actually taking the leap. So Emily's first piece of advice, you guys, is you don't have to have all the answers. That being said, do your research. I'd love to go in a little bit deeper into that. So we've talked about my mantra, real is greater than perfect. In your own words, what does being real mean to you? And I love your realness because you have such a beautiful, unique style. It struck me right when we first met. Dare I say how many years ago? Almost 20.
No, we don't say that. That's good. Yeah. 5 years ago.
Here I was, fresh, green, fresh out of college, newbie, California girl, and I have this awesome, amazing, poised. You got that amazing Texas spirit. What does being real mean to you? And can you give us an example of how that translates in your day to day?
Yeah, I come from East Texas originally, and I have this accent, and I'm never going to get rid of it ever.
Good.
And I remember when I first moved to LA, and we had met each other, and I remember being told I needed to lose my Texas accent. And I remember being really heartbroken because that's who I am. You know what I mean? Like
bullshit. That's such. I mean,
I called my East Texas daddy, and he goes, well, fuck that.
Yeah, like I would have called my dad too. It's like he's just this person's just insulted my entire and how insensitive. It's such an industry thing because our background is PR communications. I would have never recovered from that, I think. So how did you recover from that? And how is that something you remember to this? It sounds like it's something you carry with you.
Always. And I think it's one of those things that you can either take it and wither, or you can take it and grow. Like you can take that and say no. I mean, that's who I am. I'm never going to be ashamed of where I'm from, what I've done, and what's made me the unique me, and what's made you the unique you.
Yeah.
And I think if you can embrace that and own it in yourself, then you are being the truest sense of yourself, and you're being the real you. I mean, I live off dry shampoo and coffee. I mean, that's what I do, and because that's my life, girl. I got 2 kids, and I own my own business. So I'm never going to be this, I think, poised. I'm always going to have a sense of humor. I'm always going to laugh. I'm always going to try to find the joy in something. And if you try to knock that out of me, I'm just going to come right back at you with even more. Yeah, I'm like the Care Bear stare, like I'll bring it even more. And I think I learned that because, I think through life, people do try to tell you how to be, people do try to tell you how to run your business. And I think, getting that advice and getting that is all great and wonderful to take in. But at the end of the day, you have to answer to yourself.
Right.
And I have 2 little girls that I have to really, they look up to me. They know I'm a small business owner. And I've got to show them what it's about. So you got to be tough, and you got to be like we say in our office, we have to have grit and grace.
Grit and grace. I love it. I have to give you this shout out. Chris Grondorf posted something beautiful, which is an amazing echo. She says, M's Texas accent was one of the things I have always loved about her.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
There's a big joke with Chris. I asked her if I could drink cream gravy from Dairy Queen in her boss's car.
Oh, and you were totally serious, I'm sure.
I wanted extra cream gravy. It was so embarrassing. Anyway.
Extra. I get some extra cream gravy on that. And I'm sure your accent was like wicked thick when you said it.
It was. I need cream gravy, y'all.
Chris, this is a talking point. We got to preach. We got to preach from Chris. So just for everyone's background, I too have the beautiful pleasure of knowing Chris Grondorf, which we're going to get her on the show. Oh my gosh. I can share my screen with 3 people. Okay.
Chris.
Listen, we are going to have, look, she's like, I got to go. Oh, wicked. Yep. It's all coming out. I'm not from Boston, but I do like to reach back into the roots, and Wicked is from there. We should totally have Chris on, and we could do a total it's going to be like Wonder Woman. I'm going to be flanked by 2 power moms, and we will we can talk about whatever. I mean, people can join or not, but I love that it's all about feedback, right? And I love Chris puts it beautifully. It's sort of and I don't want to get too strategy wise, but your brand right off the bat is this, allow me to say it, warm, like I say, poised, your Texas self, your Southern charm, your integrity, like Chris just said it, comes so straightforward. And if you want to look at it as a personal brand, it's like, why would you want to douse that, you know? And I just applaud you for like almost ignoring that advice, that terrible advice given to you early on, and the fact that you've actually embraced who the heck you are, because it makes you who you are. I mean, it's people know you for who you are, and you're so authentic and real. So yeah, Chris totally says she's in, by the way.
We're doing it.
We have it. It's on the record, Chris. So
and I think we need to do like a cream gravy drink-a-thon first and just like all cheers together, and you know.
We should do like a gravy tasting. Oh my God.
I love it.
This one's a little thicker and this one's a little spicier. She's the viscosity of this gravy. Anyway, Chris, you're in. We have it on record. I mean, it's now on tape. Can I even say on tape? Because yeah. But Chris, totally. It's like, I love your support. Thanks for coming on. I want to give a shout out to Rena Brode. It looks like she's on as well in the house. Talk about integrity. Rena is an amazing realtor here in Los Angeles. She's I have to introduce you guys. She's fantastic. She's like one of the warmest. She's also got a very similar warm integrity style to her. She walks into the room and you're like, I like who this person is. You know, she inspires me. So I feel like you guys are like twin flames almost. I'll try to introduce you at some point. But hey, Rena, how you doing? Hey, Rob, how's it going? So we have a nice little party. Oh, Chris says, Jesus, were you drinking it?
Of course, it's cream gravy.
This is going to be like the actual show. Like, keep this going, because she's like, wait. I just love that somewhere Chris is like in front of a computer going like, was she drinking?
Was she drinking the cream gravy in our boss's car? Yes, she was. Yes. That's being authentic and real right there. I don't give a crap. So there you go. I was drinking cream gravy.
So were you like sneaking it, or like was your boss in the car driving? Yeah. Like, I got to get the full. So what actually happened? Was this like a media tour? What was going on?
We were in San Diego driving back from LG mobile phones, and there's a Dairy Queen on the way. And I was like, oh my gosh, y'all, it's a Texas stop sign. And I was like, we have to go get chicken fried steak fingers and cream gravy. And so we're eating a box of chicken fried steak fingers, and I got extra gravy, and I was just drinking it in the car. And I remember asking my boss, I was like, can I drink cream gravy in your car? And like, I thought Chris was going to, she was just crying. She's like, did you really just ask that?
You're like, listen, like I love that there was no filter. So this is what happened, I think. Your body took over and was like, you were asking a question, but I think you were actually declaring, I am going to drink this cream gravy in your car, period. But it came out as a polite question.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do it because, like, you know, my mama. That's my mama right there. That's cream gravy and chicken fried steak, and that's how we roll. So when I saw cream gravy, because they don't have any in Los Angeles, it's like a cream gravy shortage almost. And
we're in drought, so that affects gravy.
So, you're in a cream gravy drought, yeah. So so I was very excited to see something from Texas, and obviously I came back here and planted my new Texas roots again. So yeah.
I love it. You know what? It's kind of amazing what memories we carry with us, and the fact that it's food related. You're speaking my language, girl. And I love that you brought your mom into it. It all comes down to, and that's the beautiful rationale. Whenever I want to like eat, or probably eat way too much, I'm like, what am I going to waste this? Like, I'm not going to. What would my mom say? Like, she says, finish your plate. So I'm going to have this third burrito. Fine.
You're fine. Your mom's always there.
Yeah, it's like, what am I going to do? Throw this out? My mom would be disappointed.
Seriously.
We're going to get our first cat drive by. You want to come up, T? Come on. Tails. If you see a tail, do we see it? There it is.
Oh, there she is.
Lady Chen is in the house. She's going to do a little sit. The studio cat. Good girl. So now that we've covered cream gravy, right. And you know, Chris, if you have any more, and I love, my mom is actually watching right now. Let's give a shout out to Nancy. We were just talking about, so my mom always gave me the seconds at dinner. Jessica will eat this. Like, Jessica will eat this. It's like, my sister and I joke about it, but it was always like, oh, we just have, you know, half a serving more of pork chops. Jessica will eat this. So Mom, we were just talking about how I finished my plate because of you. Thank you so much. Hey, Christy, how's it going? She says, hey, Jess. Chris says, for Emily, how did you make the decision to go out on your own? Love it, Chris. How did you make the decision to go out on your own? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I really do think it was because my biggest passion was, this is a female dominated industry. And I saw too many times that I did not have a life like at all. And so I was like, there's got to be a way that I can provide a cocoon of some sort for these women practitioners and men too. So, but it really was, I started with that ethos, like, let's find a way that these people can work and play and live together. Also, I think I have just, a passion for doing things, I guess, like kind of my way, which is entrepreneurial. And I also really love working with people. And I think one of my superpowers, and I think this is for all entrepreneurs, recognizing your superpowers. I love managing and working with people. I like having all those plates spinning. That's why I got into PR in the first place. And I really couldn't find a place here that I think drilled down on the core values that I wanted to see, the mission that I wanted to see, and the empowerment that I wanted to find for these practitioners. And a place that, I feel like a lot of demands already happen to PR people anyway. So I really do make it as a framework of, you have the freedom to work from home. You have the freedom to set your own hours. I need you to get in 35 hours a week. However you get in those hours is up to you, but this is your life. I work sometimes best under a blanket by my Christmas tree, and I'm not going to judge others if you work best, out in a park. So I can't tell you how to live your life, but I can tell you I'm going to provide a safe place for you to come and practice. And so that's really what I wanted to do. The funny thing about all of this is that we do have an office, and we don't require anyone to show up to the office, but everyone shows up to the office every day, and we all work around this really large table every day. And I'm like, you guys know you don't have to be here, right? But I think it's because we all work together so well, and we sit around the big table, and we talk about stuff, and like we brainstorm for clients constantly. Like, it's just constant like this. But what I think has happened is that I haven't forced that down their throats. Like, you have to be here from 8 to 5, and you can't leave for lunch, and you can't go work out. Like, go work out. Like, I can only work out from like 10 to 10:30 every morning. You know what I mean? So who am I to say how you go live your life? I'm not.
That's the max. Yeah. Well, plus you're running around after your family, you're running your household. So you're working out all day long. Like, I am not a mother. I cannot speak to it, but I roll deep in amazing women who happen to be moms. And so I hear all about, like, I don't know how, and it's like, I know I don't want to, it's like, how do you do it? Like, I know you hate that question, but I am going to rephrase it. I admire how you do it all. And I admire, it's like your Navy SEAL, like your endurance. I'm like, how can I even wrap my head around? But it's what my mom told me. She's like, you just do it when you're a mom. And I was like, okay, great. Like, that's magic to me. I don't know how, but I love it. So you sit around, like, it's almost like King Arthur and the knights. You just sit around a table and you collaborate that way.
We're going to make jackets that say that. I mean, like, seriously, because it really is like, and I think it's, it's also trying to create that Camelot of how can we make this better? How can we make this sweeter? How can we make this kinder? How can we be good stewards and do great work? I really do believe, and like we have it in our scope of works, actually, like one of our things of a scope of work, we say, you should be having fun. You should be having fun with us. If you're not having fun, you need to come talk to me, because if you're not having fun, results are one thing, but you should be enjoying this experience with us. And if you're not doing that, then I need you to come talk to me about it. And so I think, and I think for moms too, I definitely do not do it all. I mean, there are priorities, and I think every, parent, everybody has, their priorities in life. And, mine is, we come sit around this table right here with our Harry Potter books, because Harry Potter is always near me. And we have a meal together every night. Some parents, it's, it's getting the bath, bed, brush teeth. every parent's different, but I think it's setting those priorities and holding on to those priorities. You know, did I get to have conversations with my children? Did I get to hear how their school day was? You know, have I talked to my husband for more than 15 minutes? Because sometimes that's all you get. But have we done that? Have we connected? So all of those little things. And I think that that's just how, you know, how you get through it. And it is, as my husband says, relentless pressure applied daily. You know, it's just relentless, like just keep on going.
I love that. And can we give him a shout out too? Because I mean, shout out to all the partners and spouses and word, because it's all about, this is like, we should do a whole show on like, you know, behind every boss lady is a, you know what I mean? Like it does take a family, it takes a village, but I want to give a shout out. Like, I love it. My mom's on here. It's like, I've got some amazing colleagues and kindred spirits, Rena Bro, Christy. It really is about support. And we talked about this last week. It's sort of like, it's not just isolated to just women, but I think we do business differently. And I love that it's like, versus, you know, we kind of are driven to support one another. Like I tell people there's two types of like marketing, and one is not my style. One is like a zero-sum game where for me to win, you have to lose. I don't believe that. I feel like everybody can totally win, especially women. Like we actually do better when we bring other people forward. And it sounds like you've created this really amazing, I love how you call it Camelot. That's yours. You coined it. Collaborative environment, but truly a communal one.
Yeah, and you know, I think the thing too is, you know, we talked about there's a culture sometimes of going after other agencies' business, and I said that I would never ever do that. If I know that a company I like has a representation, I'm never going to go after it, because that's someone's bread and butter. What if that's like that agency's only client right now? And I'm going to go try to take it. And so we've actually have a very firm belief in our office that we don't try to take other people's business. And I know it's going to happen to me. And in fact, you know, it has, but I'm never going to turn around and try to do that to somebody else. I don't believe in it. I believe that there is, you know, now if a client comes to us and says, hey, you know, we are looking, and then I can have that conversation, but I'm never going to proactively go after someone if I know that they're represented by an agency, because I just feel I like my heart can't take that. Yeah. And I also like golden rule. Like I wouldn't want it happening to me. Like what if one of our clients that I love and someone's like pursuing them heavily? I really do genuinely feel that you can go after business and find business without having to take someone else's. And so I'm just not competitive in that way. And so we don't do that. And we've gone into rounds about this. I think with people outside of our company, like, well, you should be going after new business and you should be pursuing other people's business. And I was like, I'm never going to do it. Like, I
love that.
I'm not. Yeah.
That is a very maverick move. Let's take a quick, Chris has to jump. Let's give her a wave.
Bye, Chris.
Next show, it's us. We're the Supremes. It's fine. Gravy. Thank you, Chris, so much for your support. Thank you for the question. And you can watch the rest of this on the replay, but I love it. I love that support. Wow, what you just said was really kind of like, and for those of you joining who haven't come through the ranks of corporate America and the PR agency like we have, to choose to not pursue a bid, as we call it, or new business, it's like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I absolutely agree with you. I'm not saying pursuing a competition is wrong, but I always got the sense, because I agree with you, I always got the sense that you could tell with certain agencies, there's like blood in the water. It's like, it was a bad energy. And personally, it's like, isn't there enough work out there? Really? Yeah. You don't have to go after someone else's, unless they're doing a terrible job and they've come to you and they need help.
Right.
I love it. That's very maverick, what you've just said. That's not the norm. I think a lot of agencies will be like, well, we have to go after the competition. Not that it's wrong, but.
Yeah. You know, I would kill to have, you know, their client, and I think we could do whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's one way to look at it. And I think there's another way to look at it, which is, let's all, you know, I'm very kumbaya. And I may sound, you know, I was told that I didn't sound businesslike when I said that. and I don't care.
You know what?
I don't care.
What is business like? To me, you sound like a confident woman who knows what she wants. It's like, so to me, you are. I guess it's like my favorite comeback is like, well, according to who? So I'm like, according to who? That Mr.
I think according to, corporate culture and like, this is what you do daily and everyone goes after everyone's business and that's just life. And I was like, well, that's great. It's not my life. So we're not going to do it unless they come to me, that's different.
Right.
Yeah.
It's different. Exactly. We talked a little bit about this and I'd love to hear from you, kind of shifting a little bit into business and life. One thing that we are experiencing an uncertain economy.
Yeah.
There might be a tax change or not. And we're going into what's always, I think, kind of an interesting time of year. Business kind of slows up. January is always questionable. This is my experience as an entrepreneur. One thing I've started to do is to try to adopt what I call a hustler's mindset. She's on the move, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, guys. I moved. Sorry about that.
Oh, cool. See, now we can see more of like, half of this is just like, what can I see in the background? What is it? It's like those games on Facebook where you're like, solve the mystery. What's in the background? Is that a magnifying glass? Is that a map?
Pillows.
Pillows. Look, I've seen so many couches. It's amazing. But can you talk about, do you agree with me, and you don't have to, is it time for us as employees, business owners, scrappy Americans to think with a hustler's mindset? Should we? My personal belief is that I think now more than ever we have to start to think diversifying, just because things are so uncertain. Do you agree? And if so, if not, do you think in terms of a hustler's mindset? Do you think diversification, does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, I think that we see a lot of avenues that people come into our PR firm. Some, like we learned from, actually did a Sandler sales training. And one of the things we learned was, what is the pain of a person? And I think, like they come in, and I think what they always say, like, well, we just need social media. Our social media isn't looking good. And I always take them a step back. It's like kind of being a doctor in a way and saying, like, well, my shoulder hurts over here. And I'm like, yeah, but it's probably your neck. And so what we always try to say is, if your social isn't popping off, then we probably need to look at your brand voice, your key messaging. What are your colors? What are your fonts? So all of those things really, I think that's how we try to like back diagnose it a little bit. But like people come in with certain pains. They want media relations, and then they want social media, and then we try to grow the business from there. So I think the way to diversify your offerings is always helpful. And then I think that we like to think, okay, so we've got one client, and we've done like a lot of media relations for them, right? But there's also thinking about the brand as a whole. What's the story? How are you being authentic? And really like, I guess helping them go to the next level and understand where their blind spots are. And that's our job as PR marketers, is helping them see the blind spots and put, sunlight's the best disinfectant. Like, how do we help them get there? Right.
I love that you're speaking my language. It's all about authenticity. Let's walk back a little. You and I, again, we both come from a formal, almost corporate, big brand PR communications background. In terms of what you were just talking about, the diagnosis and talking about the brand and the story, has our industry evolved? And and can you give us a little bit of sunlight, as you were, on what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing now as a communications professional, as a master storyteller? Like, what are some of the biggest challenges brands or organizations are having and asking for help on? Because it's obviously changed. Like the media has changed, the storytelling has changed. What are you seeing on the street in terms of the biggest challenges?
I think, it's getting brands to, we always try to start with who they are on the brand personality wheel. Are you a sage? Are you an outlaw? Like, conversation pieces, brand personality is the nurturer. That's who we are with. I would say a little bit of outlaw, because we've got a lot of sass to us. We got lots of sass, y'all. And we are never, I am never going to do the status quo. I am never going to do things because that's how it's been done for years. So that's really what we set out to do. And so we try to get clients to, really, I think, understand. There's a really great book called Story Wars. It's one of my favorite books to read and offer up to people to read, because it really helps you understand, I think, the media landscape. It's a few years old now, but helping people understand why we create brands, personalities, because it infuses everything you do. Right. And I think some people think that's a little wishy-washy, or it sounds a little woo-woo, but I'm like, if you actually set the brand personality and the tone, then everything else starts to fall into place. And so that brand personality applies itself to your social media, to your media relations, to how you choose influencers. And so I know that we're trying to educate our clients now on how this all comes together. And back in our day, Jessica, it used to be advertising, PR, and then social media kind of came into it. And now it's all flat. Now it's all like one big fat circle, Yeah. It's all together.
We touch it all. It's like we touch it all, but yet we specialize. But yeah, I remember conversations where like, we don't do that. We don't do advertising. This was like 15 plus years ago, y'all. But like, there used to be a clear line, right?
Yes.
Between what agencies did and didn't. And now, like you said, it's totally flat. Like, which is beautiful, because for people like us running a shop, we can just specialize in whatever we specialize in. Like, when I do one-on-one coaching, it's like, I'm talking brand and marketing. I don't touch PR, but if I do have PR needs, it's like, I know about 3 people I can pick up a phone and talk about, but it's still related, or like when I'm teaching a social media workshop, I might just be focusing on social media, or speaking at a keynote, just be talking about social media, but it all comes back down to storytelling, branding, marketing. Yeah. Beautiful. What, is there a trend right now that you're the most intrigued or excited about in terms of our industry?
Yeah, I think, to me, like what we're focusing on right now at CPPR is immersive event experiences. They've been around a while for larger brands. So speaking of cats, I did the Friskies for More cat tour across America. And we traveled with this big house with these cats that could dunk basketballs and stuff. But what I love now is girl, where's my cat? I need my cat to come up here. But what I love is that I think a lot of these brands are connecting with people. I think a lot of it has been this online, opportunity, but I'm using a slang term, the IRL, like experiencing a brand in real life. And I love that it's not about doing this big grand thing, although sometimes those are really exciting and sexy.
True.
But to me, I like, there was Emily Weiss from Glossier does this.
Love them.
Yeah. And so she just said this thing at South by Southwest a few years ago that she said, we just invited a few Glossier and Boy Brow.
There's like my skin, moisturize. Let's talk about Glossier preach. I love them. I use their moisturizer. Use them, Glossier.com. Okay, continue.
Right. But Emily Weiss was talking about how she invited just like a few girls up and they were just masking on their sunroof. And that was it. It wasn't anything special. They were just masking and chatting and having mimosas, but it was a great brand experience.
Yeah. And Gina, shout out. Gina says Warm and Fuzzy is our brand. I just wanted to give her a shout out. Trikaroo, shout out. I love that. So capture again for people who might not be familiar with IRL. So IRL is like immersive real life experience.
Right. And I think it's thinking of the brand and how my cat's coming up here, and how we think about how do we interact with the brand and how do we bring it to life for people in a way that is immersive and lets them take away what they want to take away from the brand. Like we have a really exciting company that's an at-home test kit, and you gotta pee in a cup, y'all, and but then you get a customized supplement protocol, and then you find out if your serotonin is low or if your dopamine is low. I mean, that is impactful.
Yeah.
So you can only capture that through a website so much, but can you imagine a clinician telling you why it's important to get your serotonin back up or your dopamine back up and how it's going to help transform your life? So to me, being able to bring that to life to people and be, of service to these people and answer their questions about their body is really impactful. And it's just something you can't get through, I think, on digital. It really is like the person-to-person opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we might have a cat drive by. And for those of you noticing, Emily has a beautiful watercolor Enya type flow going on, just with an internet connection. It's all good. So we totally see it and we love it and we acknowledge it. But I feel like you're with the painting in the background. I feel like I'm watching like Enya. I feel very soothed. But you're coming in loud and clear. Oh my gosh, Gabriel! Can we give a shout out to Gabriel?
This guy is 20 years old. He's my little Himalayan, and he is. Look at that guy. He's like not feeling it.
He's like okay. This isn't my first time on air, you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like in my 20 years experience. Beautiful. And Lady just jumped off. Lady, you could have seen your
boyfriend.
Seriously, I don't know. It's morning nap time. Hey, Gabriel, I'm glad you could make a little shout out. And I love that. So part of the fun of doing this show is, as a total voyeur, I love seeing in people's living rooms and conference rooms. But I love, it's amazing because this is a trend. This live video, you're going to see this everywhere. 2018. I'm hanging my hat on it. And watch this space. I'm building a course for people to go live in 5. It's going to be awesome. It's coming out in the new year. So I'll put a link actually if you want to sign up for that. But in other news, this whole live element is beautiful because I've seen so many dogs and cats and children and spouses in the backgrounds. It's and talk about authenticity. It's like we all remember that BBC reporter when his kids walked in. But I feel like I love, as long as it's innocent, I live for that because I think we're all too a little buttoned up. So the fact that we get cat drive-bys and office dogs and
and who cares?
It's like nobody cares, but everybody loves it. It's like bring on your menagerie. I don't care.
Yeah, and I think the reason why people, connected with that BBC interview was because, that could happen to anybody. And I think that being able to embrace that, I got a cat sitting on my lap. I'm not going to kick him off. He's old. You know what I mean? We're fine.
Yeah. He's old. He's earned his spot. But I think it's sort of I get this question a lot. What do you mean by authenticity? And I feel like if I need to give you a visual, it's doing a live show with a cat on your lap, and people and talking about gravy. I mean, there's an ebook right there. Just sell it. You can take it. It's fine. And just put Gabriel. Oh my God. Just be put you, Gabriel, and a big cup of gravy, and just that's your. What's authenticity? That's a flashcard. What's authenticity? And just hold a sign. These things.
These things.
Yeah. But it's true. It's and for me, I like it because it has kind of a live improv element because I'm a planner. And if I had to really think about what I'm doing right now as an introvert, I would never do this. But I love the technical glitches. I say that now. I like the real time. I like the cat drive-bys. This medium for me, I think, is going to bring something back to our industry, maybe that was missing, which is just being real,
just being real. And I think if you are an introvert, I'm an introvert as well. Yeah. Everyone always thinks that I'm an extrovert, and I'm not at all. I'm a massive introvert, which is why I like all the plate spinning and stuff I get to do. But I like being able to just have an honest conversation and not feel like you have to be so poised and so I don't know. So I think it's really, really impactful. And I think it's really important. And it goes back to, I think, also the brand, being able to ask brands to have the warts and all effect to it. Like there is something great about being, just being who you are and embracing that. And, there is a certain amount of polish and everything that's required for brands, but if that's not who you are, embrace it and go with it. That's the power of brands.
Yeah. I love it. She's so good. She brings it back on message, people. And that's part of our job, right? It's like to our ability to bring things back to center. And this is, and I don't know how you can speak to this, maybe change names, but I know a lot of your experience has been on things like media tours, probably media training. Which I never really did early on. I think I went directly to more writing content, social media. But I can only imagine the challenges that you've faced with certain clients or personalities to like keep them on message. Can you share any anecdotes, or can you share any stories from that? Maybe working with, shall I say, challenging personalities?
I think, there have been tons of times I've seen it go both ways, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I've seen someone be so on message that you could be like, is the sky blue? And they're like, well, let me tell you about the mission of our company. And I'm like, okay.
You're like,
so no. And so and once again goes back to being authentic. Like you definitely want to get that message across.
Yeah.
But not keep hitting it so hard that when the journalists ask you an actual question that you're still, or a different question, that you keep trying to like unrealistically drive it back to your key messaging.
Yeah.
I think there is power in, number one, being yourself. The best spokespeople I've ever seen are the ones who I think say it from the heart, who really believe in their mission and their core values.
Yeah.
And who are able to, I think, answer the difficult questions or say, you know what, I don't know that, but let me get back with you. And there's a power in saying, I don't know that, and being vulnerable. It is okay to say, I don't know. Like it really is.
Can we just let's just sit with that for a minute. Okay. It's okay to say, okay, right.
It's okay.
I need to take that on board and always.
Yeah.
It is okay. It is okay. And a lot of us forget that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going back to that perfectionist tendency, which all PR people tend to have, in a really, I think, a rational kind of way. It is really, really okay for you to say, like, I don't know this right now, but let me get back with you. And then, of course, your follow-up is the most important thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's how you follow up and how you take the next step. You're not going to know everything. You are a human being. And I know people are hiring you for your expertise and they're hiring you, but there's also a thing of, I need to think on this for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we can apply that in so many freaking ways.
So many ways. Yeah.
Like in business, but really in life.
And kids.
And kids and dating. Yeah. That whole thing. It's interesting though. It's like, where do we get this pressure to be perfect? We can't answer that in this show. That's just me talking. But it's interesting how that translates into challenges for you. It's like we've all had those clients, or like I'll even see it in my one-on-one coaching. It's like, relax. You can sell your business. You can promote yourself in a way that's completely you. And it's almost like my biggest challenge that I'd reflect is working with clients to unlearn bad habits taught to them by other people, other marketers, other brands. I think that might be why, in fact, I know that's why I was struggling with authenticity with my own brand. It's like, especially things like social media, it's kind of turned everything on its head. And we're struggling to just relax being ourselves because we're like, surely this isn't allowed. like, because we have 20 years experience telling us we need to be. And of course, being polished, being on message, professional, that's one thing. But my biggest challenge is trying to teach clients to unlearn these very stiff, kind of bad control habits. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Too?
Well, and I think, there's a reason why everyone really liked Jennifer Lawrence, if we want to put into the acting thing. Like, she talks about eating food, and we can go back to the cream gravy thing. Like, she talks about eating food, and like, she's really tired, or she was out too late. It makes her a human being.
Yeah. No, that's such a great example. She's so authentic. Probably, like, some would say she probably shares too much, but there's no mistaking who she is, right?
No, and I find that refreshing. But I also feel like if you want to be buttoned up and polished, and that's what you do, like, do it,
right.
like go for it. But don't try to be something that you're not. And I think for forever, I tried to be this super polished, and I'm sure I can be, but I had to let all of that go, because I am who I am. And when I found that I had the most anxiety and when I wasn't being successful was when I was trying to be something that I wasn't. So like, why fight it? And I do see the best, like I think about like Richard Branson, Virgin Airlines, that guy, like I mean, some people may find him brash or whatever, but he's just being himself. So I think that there's a power to being yourself if you're comfortable enough in your own skin. Some people do need to have that cloak of putting on something and then taking it off when you get home. And I get that too. I totally understand that, but I think it's just it really depends on what makes you comfortable and what's going to make you a powerful spokesperson or practitioner, mom, whatever it may be. That's going to be the authentic you, for sure. My cat's still here.
Of course. And again, you brought it back to gravy. I think, Jennifer Lawrence is such a great, so everyone watching and listening, if you need an example of everything we've talked about, authenticity, next to Emily, I would say Jennifer Lawrence is a great example. I think we all know who she is. And you can bet that she's been media trained. She's poised. She can carry herself. But there's no mistaking. And I say this too. We were just having this conversation last week. That it's like, because people ask me, they're like, "Well, how do I know when I'm being authentic?" I was like, "Well, if people look at you and they have zero questions, if there's no mistaking, you are who you are. If you're just naturally exuding your own sense, and if there's no question, like a Jennifer Lawrence, or I use Madonna. I'm like." Madonna may have changed her brand over the last 30 years, but there's never been any question that Madonna doesn't know who Madonna is at that moment or full on. Angelina Jolie's another good example I give, because her career has totally changed. She's gone from like bombshell to like UN ambassador. And so just looking at her, you'd be like, oh, she's changed personalities all the time. It's like her image has changed, but I would say that there's never been a question that Angelina Jolie doesn't know who she is. Like, that's a deep rooted, and she's hella authentic. So Jennifer Lawrence is another good example of that. So.
Yeah, and I think her priorities have changed. I think that's okay. Like you go. That's awesome that you're Tomb Raider, but then you don't want to do Tomb Raider anymore because now you've got 6 kids, and so you want to go be a UN ambassador. So I think it's remaining true to yourself. And I think to answer the question of like, how do I know when I'm being authentic? You should feel that. I mean, that it's that moment that you're not holding anything back, and then you feel okay about it.
Yeah.
And just be yourself. It's just like from Aladdin, like, be yourself. Like, Aladdin is a good one. If we were pulled from the Wayback Machine.
Totally. Yeah. That's great advice. And I think that's a great kind of final question. It's sort of like, your priorities are going to change in life and business. So how do you traverse that and ensure that you are authentic the whole way, knowing that there's going to be challenge, probably mistakes being made, lessons learned? My final question would be, because your career has evolved beautifully.
Uh-huh.
And you've grown a family, and you've established an amazing network of clients, of friends, of colleagues. Any advice you'd give to someone who may be experiencing that sort of change, and maybe a little unsure about their path in terms of being authentic? Any advice to them?
I could tell you that I have been, through, it's been a nutty year this year. And just remember, my dad's owned his own business for about 37 years in the oil and gas business. So that's a tall, frosty glass of butt pucker right there, y'all, is oil and gas. So and my dad, I remember my dad telling me that, it's going to look like an earthquake when you first start. It's going to look like this. It's just going to be going off. Eventually, those little earthquakes are going to start to slow down, and it will start to even itself out. Remember that. And remember that this is life, and owning your own business does take some sort of intestinal fortitude. Okay. And if you can remember that things are going to happen to you, if you can remember how you take those things and internalize them and spit them back out into the world in a positive way, you are set. Nothing can get to you. And that's a really hard thing to remember, because people and stuff is going to happen. It's going to happen, y'all. And if it's happening to you, you're doing something right. So just remember that. And take that with you, but it's how you take it and how you learn to internalize it and then use that for good in the world. The better off you are going to be, and the more successful you're going to be. That's it.
I love it. You're speaking my language. And it's like, and you hit it on the head. It's like, let's not all forget what the larger purpose here is. It's like, you just said create good in the world, create positive change. Because like, why are we here? It's not just to make money, although that helps, right?
Yeah, money's great, and I get that it makes the world go round. But I think that positivity and kindness and wanting to help others and see others succeed is also great too. I wish that was a currency. I wish we could make that into a currency. You know what I mean?
The Bitcoin of,
the Bitcoin of kindness. If we could just, somehow magically put kindness into currency, I would be all about it, y'all. But but we can't. But you can turn that into a currency for yourself and for others. And remember that. And remember that as you start your business, or as you grow your business, that will take you far. And I really do believe that. And I sound mushy, and I don't care.
I love it. No, you don't sound mushy. You're basically speaking to why I think we're all here and we struggle. And I love that. I was just thinking, impact is the currency of positive change, really. So if you want to define it, it's sort of like, at the end of the day, are you improving the world around you? Is what I ask my clients, and I talk about it, because I do in the brand organics, my process, the final step, the fifth step is, okay, how are you now putting this out into the world? Do you have a CSR program? Do you run a charity? Are you donating a portion of your proceeds? So it's like, now that we've branded and launched you, by the way, don't forget the final and really most important piece. What is the impact you're creating? It's not just to sell more of your product, which is great. So I love that you brought it up, because we forget about that. We forget about the legacy and the impact that we have.
And I think, and we have to answer to sales all the time. And the things I try to tell our CEOs and everything is, sales is obviously vital. Yeah. But how your brand interacts with the world is also just as impactful. Yeah. And I hate to tell you this, but it also increases sales. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Yeah. It can help get you to that bottom line that that you're looking for. You've got to be able to be a good, solid brand. You have to be authentic, and you have to champion and steward others. You really do.
I love that. So this is a good call to action. And I just put it up there. Impact is the currency of positive change. So good call to action to wrap all this up from Emily is and I'm going to impart on you is, ask yourself if something is missing. Okay, you know, how are you impacting the world around you? Or just bring it home a little closer to home. Is there a positive change you can create for your customers right here today? Can you surprise and delight them? We are in the season of warm and fuzzy and red Starbucks cups and probably extra large mugs of gravy for Emily.
Yeah.
So here's a good call to action. What's the cup of gravy that you could give your clients today that show gratitude, appreciation, and maybe encourage them to pass it along? Like that? That was a stretch, but I brought it back in. You like that?
I love it. Bring it back to cream gravy. Well, you know, and I think it's thinking of your customers and like how you can continue to be a better resource for them. What can you do? Is it through a Halo program, which is what we're talking about? Is it through surprise and delights? Is it through, you know, surprising someone, or is it doing something good in your community? Remember where you are, remember who you are, and remember where you operate and why it's important, and think about your community. And what good have you done today? It's not all about sales. Sales is great, and I get it, but it's about all the other stuff too. It has to be.
It has to be. Hey, Jerry Morales just joined us. He's awesome. He was one of my very early guests. So, hey, Jerry, thanks for joining us the last couple minutes. Those are really great words to end on, I think. I am so going to ask you to come back on the show, if not, again, just to talk about cream gravy. But we just started a whole new conversation on, I think, paying it forward and purpose, which, like you said earlier, like that can get really woo-woo, but you put it in such beautiful context in terms of, and maybe this is the next time we meet, we ask that question, okay, what surprise and delight, how can you bring a positive change or an impact, dare I say, strategy or ideas to your clients? Because it is a question I get, you know, and I think a lot of people, especially right now, want to create positive change. And where do we spend all our time and money and resources? Our business. So ideally, we would use our business to do that. But
right, exactly.
Well, we are at the top of the hour, so Emily, I will let you go. But for everyone, thank you for watching. We're going to let Emily sign off. If you have questions for her, a lot of people watch this on the replay. So if you have questions for Emily about Conversation Piece PR, if you need media relations, she's the gal. If you want to talk social strategy, branding, DM me and I'll put you in touch with her. And of course, if you are in Texas, you should just go drop by and bring her some gravy.
Bring me some cream gravy. Austin, Texas. Yeah. Y'all come on by and we'll talk cream gravy.
Which should just be like your calling card. Like that should be on the business cards. Cats and cream gravy on there.
Seriously.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us. I think we had a great discussion, tons of questions. Thank you, everyone. Gina, Chris, Christy, Rena, Mom, Nancy, Jerry, everyone, thank you and of course, if you're watching it on the replay, let us know. I would love to ask Emily any questions you have. I will link to her website and her Instagram so you can absolutely follow her. You want to make sure that you're watching all the amazing stuff to learn more about IRL as well. So, Emily, any parting words before we let you go?
No, just everyone keep your head up. And I also want to give a shout out to my best friend.
Yeah.
You always need a best friend. My friend Carrie. You always gotta have a rock and a girl that you get to talk to, and we go on date nights every night, every week. So that's I gotta give a shout out to that girl too. But yeah, I think that you know, keep your head up. If you're thinking about doing this, just remember you don't have to have all the answers. It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Emily said so. So you know. So if anything goes wrong. Emily, thank you so much. And I love that you gave your bestie a shout out. It's all about support, right? And community.
Of course. Absolutely.
Well, Emily, we're going to let you go. Thank you again so much.
Bye. Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Isn't she flippin' fantastic, you guys? We are at the hour, so I am going to let you all go. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Emily Kealey is amazing boss lady. If you are just joining now, we're about ready to wrap up. Just hit the replay button to watch. If you're following me over on YouTube, jump over to Facebook. Find me at Jessica Payne Official, which I'll put my handle up here, and you can make sure to find me on Facebook. That is where my episodes air live. And then, of course, they're pushed out to YouTube. If you are on Facebook and you're wondering where I am on YouTube, I have a ton of content over there as well, including actual audio files from my podcast. We've got how-to videos. So jump over there, help me get my numbers up, subscribe on the little channel that could. And people are starting to ask about that. I'll put a handle to my YouTube channel in the comments, but you can just search Jessica Payne Strategy if you want. Other than that, I'll also put a link to my ebook. I'm creating a new one. And I will talk a little bit about the live mastery show I shared. So this show has been really flippin' successful. And I enjoy it, which you got to have too. Otherwise, why the heck spend so much time doing it? So this isn't really public, but I'm letting you know now. I let my Secret Squirrel mailing list know about it last night. I am in the final touches preparing a really cool, do I say course? It's like a membership insiders club, all about live show mastery. And I'm not going to tell you to spend like $900 getting a camera and doing that. No, this is designed for people like you who can, so that you can go live. What I'd like to say, go live in 5. So, and if the idea of going live using video content to like explode your social media, if that's terrifying, that's totally fine, because I'm an introvert and it was terrifying for me. Like, I resisted video forever, but what I'm finding now is it's actually the best platform for me. So I'm launching this course at the top of the year, the new year. If you're interested, DM me here. You can also email me or just shoot me a message on social media. Let me know. I'll put you on the special mailing list for that so you can get a sneak peek. But essentially every single, about every 30 days or so, you're going to get some insider actionable steps on how to improve your show. But again, it's designed so that anybody can go live in 5 minutes and then you can improve your show. And the only reason why I'm talking about this, because I'm wicked cynical, is since starting my live show about 2 months ago, I've gone from 0 to 5K views in just one episode. My engagement increased the first week alone. My engagement increased like 130%. It's brought in new business. My website traffic has increased by like 25-30%. What else? I'm grabbing more followers on my social media, not just on my Facebook channel, but my Instagram and other channels. Like, there's an increase. And I have to tell you, before I was doing the show, I was facing the similar challenge I was with clients. Like, my engagement was like stalled. It was dipping. And that's because Facebook only likes video. So I ran an experiment and it worked. I talked about this in other episodes. So again, that's the premise behind me creating this course. And it could be for you. It might not be for you. But what I'm finding is one of the biggest interests I'm getting from current clients, from my one-on-one coaching, is like, I need to know more about video. How do I do video? Because it's really intimidating and really daunting, because everyone thinks you need like this expensive equipment in the studio. You don't. You just have to create really good content. Content like today. Like, if you put thought and purpose behind finding guests like I had Emily on today, who can bring their expertise together, then you're creating value, right? And so if you create a strategy behind it, if you learn the tricks and the tips on how to do that, it can actually be really, really easy. So that's why I'm creating this live. I call it Live Show Mastery. So stay tuned. But again, if you're interested on it, DM me, email me, tell me you want to get on the list. I'll go more public probably in a couple weeks, but I am only letting you guys know, and I'm only letting my current followers know, because it's kind of a VIP thing. So big news on this end. So that should do it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to say a nice little goodbye to everyone who's on. Let's see if I can do a quick shout out. Chris, Rena, Christy, Gina, Mom, Jerry. Who else? I think that's who's on right now. So thanks everyone for watching. You can catch me here on Facebook. We have a great interview next week with an awesome sauce person, Stephen Healy, I believe, who's like the live video show king out of England. He's like wicked. He's amazing. Otherwise, I'll see you on social media. Thank you guys so much for watching Jessica Payne Live. This show's fun, and I'll let you go. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful night if you're watching me from around the world, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. So long, farewell. Dee, 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 dee.